Alright, this is a weirder video. I'm gonna kind of do a review on Sonic Movie 3, and while doing so, I'm gonna play Shadow Generations. Was the movie good? Yes, it is very good. Very, very, very good movie. Very good movie. Like, oh my god, it was good. It's the best movie in the series so far. Like, as far as the series has gone, this is the best film. Like, just objectively, I think. In terms of storytelling, scale, everything. It's just, like, the best. I think it does the most, like, just improvements upon the original that I think are really helpful for what the movie was doing. I think one of the best examples is, so, here I'm doing the Sonic Movie 3 stage that they made, but one thing is, this, where they base this stage off of, this happens, like, literally as soon as the movie starts. Like, it's like, Shadow breaks out first 5 seconds. It's crazy. Insane. I was surprised by that. They didn't build up to it, they were just like, no, we're going straight into it, which is good. I think that's good. I think more of these movies should have that. I think a lot of the problem that a lot of these Sonic movies have is that they kind of hold back on what they're doing, and in turn just kind of don't feel like a Sonic movie. This one felt like a Sonic movie more like any other Sonic movie has, in a crazy way. There's so many small things that happen in that movie that I think are impressive for what they're doing. Like, for example, so like I said, they open up with Shadow breaking out immediately. So immediately after doing that, it's like, it starts out how you would exactly expect the movie would kind of start out, with like, oh, Sonic and friends are hanging out, and then they get called, and then they fight Shadow. Everything that they showed in the trailers between Sonic and Shadow and everything, that was like the first, like, 20 minutes of the movie. Everything else was like, kind of like, everything else was just like really, really, really early in the movie. It like threw me off. I never seen the movie like do that. And then on top of that, it was heavily accurate to what Sonic Adventure 2's plot was. What the plot does, what the plot is of that movie. Like, heavily accurate to that, which was very surprising to me at the very least. I did not expect them to kind of keep so close to what that movie did. Like, that surprised me in like a lot of ways, because that was just like not something I generally expected them to do with that movie. Just to follow the Sonic Adventure 2 plot pretty closely, all things considered, which is very impressive to me. But on top of that, not only following the plot, not only do they do that, but they also just have, it's like the scale is bigger than all the other movies have been so far. None of the movies have been this big in scale, and in turn, it makes this one feel more grandiose for Shadow and his inclusion. And they just do such a good job. In terms of Shadow, Keanu's deliveries are great. He does a great job as Shadow. He does a lot of, he sounds very, I don't know, like, I think one thing that I really like is he talks very softly throughout most of the movie. Like, he's not very aggressive throughout a lot of it. He's very soft-spoken in a lot of sequences. He only talks very aggressively whenever he's talking about revenge or Maria, because of the rage that's inside him, which I think shows how much Keanu really did review Shadow's character. Like, he was making sure that he got the character right, which I think is very cool, that he cared that much. I feel like the one thing that I was disappointed about for the movie, though, was definitely Gerald. Gerald was very much just Eggman 2, which, like, is fine, right? That's fine. Jim Carrey as Eggman, though, was just like, he's Eggman now. Like, that's just Eggman. Like, he has reached Eggman. He is so much fun. He's such a fun villain. He's so kooky and crazy. But Gerald is such a different character, and I think, I understand why they didn't go with it fully. A lot of lore stuff has changed, which makes sense. All things considered, I mean, I feel like we don't really talk about this, but Gerald was executed by a firing squad. That's kind of dark to put in a children's movie, so it makes sense that they changed that. And that he's just been alive this whole time. So, you know, it's a small change, but it's understandable. And then, you know, another thing is, on top of all that, they even do the, what was it? Like, it's just, it's cool, because it's like, it's nice seeing him at least. And it kind of serves as almost kind of like an explanation for why Shadow is doing what he's doing. Because it does kind of further describe that, like, yeah, Gerald is the one who kind of gave Shadow his plot for revenge. Through the rage of Maria's death. So, there's that. And then on top of all that, you know, so we have, you know, Gerald, who has pretty much been just Eggman 2, which is fine. I like Eggman in this movie, so I don't really mind. That's fine, right? But I guess let me get on to Team Sonic really quick and their whole deal. So, Tails is given so much more to do in this movie. Immediate thing I noticed. Tails has so much more agency in the plot. He's doing so much more in terms of just, like, stuff that he does. He feels like an actual part of the solid part of the team, which was something that I think they didn't do very well in the first movie, or the second movie. Tails felt very much like an afterthought, and Knuckles was obviously the focus, which I get. I like Knuckles. So, you know, that thing was there. But, as I was saying, they gave Tails more agency, which is good for his character. I like that they gave Tails more to do in the overall plot. So that was nice. And then on top of Tails having more, Knuckles is still great in the movie, as he was in Sonic 2 and his show. Knuckles is still great. He's fun. He has his funny moments. He's still a really fun character. I like how come they brought his fear of ghosts from Sonic Adventure 2 over. That's a very, very specific deep cut that made me that I was very happy to see. So that was nice to me that they brought that back from the games. They brought that over from Sonic Adventure 2. I thought that was cute. You know, there's a lot of other stuff that happens throughout the movie. I think another example is, okay, I guess let's just talk about Sonic then. Let's just get to Sonic. Sonic is so good in that movie. Incredible in that movie. He does, literally, it's like what Sonic I think should be like in these movies from now on, because he's obviously like kind of jokey at the start, but the stuff Shadow does and the way he acts in the plot makes Sonic like go insane. He snaps. Sonic gets mad at Shadow. I have never seen movie Sonic this mad. He's like mad. And he walks in. It's crazy. It's so cool though. And then the best part is that even the human stuff, which a lot of people don't really like, I always kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was fun and cute. Human stuff was so much better in this movie in comparison to the last two. If you didn't like the wedding scene, for example, right? You don't need to worry because there's no scene like that in Sonic Movie 3. There's no moment where they just straight up just have humans for like 20 minutes. Like, they don't do that here. They're just Sonic full time. Everything they do is important to the plot and what needs to happen for the plot. And I think that helps the flow of the movie a lot. That, you know, we're not having this moment where like, oh, we're gonna do a funny little goofy thing for the parents. It's like, yeah, sure, but it's like the motivation is Sonic, right? Everybody wants to see Sonic. Everybody wants the Sonic plot is important to the movie, and in turn, they act that way with the story. So all the human stuff is really fun. The jokes hit. I feel like all the jokes hit pretty well. There's a few jokes, obviously, like a few one-liners from Sonic that aren't that funny, or, you know, and I feel like near the end, you know, the Eggmen definitely feel a little too jokey, I think. I think it's a bit much on what they're doing with the Eggman. I wish that they kind of dialed it down a bit, considering it was like the final encounter. But overall, it wasn't that bad. just, you know, it's a smaller thing. And I feel like, in turn, they did a little too many jokes with Eggman. I feel like it should have been a little bit more serious, but it doesn't really matter in that context because the Sonic Shadow stuff at the end was incredible, so everything else was great. So, you know, not only do we have, you know, all this cool stuff with them, but it's such a fun movie, man. It's so much fun. It's such a great, fun action movie. It does so many things right. And I think the thing that really made me happy was that it was just Sonic Adventure 2, the movie, which is what I wanted it to be. And they do that. And it makes me so happy that it is just Sonic Adventure 2, the movie. Because, yeah, that's what the movie should be, right? It should be Sonic Adventure 2, the movie. Like, yeah. Like, yeah, let's do Sonic Adventure 2, the movie, right? Like, sure, right? Like, I feel like it's very, very cool that they just do that to me, because it's just like they felt confident in this story, in the story of the game and in the universe. They didn't feel like they were embarrassed of Sonic. They were very, like, they like Sonic there. And I think that makes it so cool, because I don't think there's very many video game movies where they just straight up adapt a plot line from a movie or from a video game, like, at least as, like, faithfully as that one kind of did. I feel like a lot of them kind of often try to, they try a little too hard to change it up for the sake of the movie, which is, like, understandable, I guess. But overall, they just do a really good job in that movie, and it has me, you know, it has me excited for what they're gonna do next. Because I guess this is more spoiler stuff. I'll get into spoilers later, I guess. I'll finish talking about the movie a little bit more, but the other thing that the movie does that I really, really liked was, especially the fight scenes are the best in the entire film series so far. Like, some of the best fights. Sonic 2 definitely improved a lot on it, but man, does this movie, like, just do so much more better with the fights in comparison. They just dial it up to 11. It is incredible. Like, the final fight felt like a Dragon Ball Z fight in, like, the best way possible. It was insane. Such insane scale, such insane fights. Just, it was good. It was good. It was a good movie. And then I guess I should talk about Maria. That's the thing I should really talk about is Maria. So Maria in the movie is they do some changes with her. They show a lot more of her and Shadow's kind of friendship, which is really nice to see more of. I feel like that's, like, one thing the original games never really did, is that they really do. This movie makes sure you actually care for Maria in this context. Like, you don't just go like, oh, that's sad that she died, that's, like, Shadow's friend, right? It's like, no, you feel sad because you actually care for Maria. You actually understand why Shadow was mad. They were best friends. You see their friendship and all that. And I think that really helps motivate Shadow's character and what he is. And, you know, I like the way that they kind of play around that moment with her. The moment, and if you know, you know. I'm not gonna, if you don't know about Sonic, well, how do you not know? But they do a good job. They change the way that she dies. She dies from an accident still. It's still an accident through and through. But I will admit, there is this weird thing where they have the agent guy kind of go like, yeah, it was an accident that Shadow caused, which, like, no. Like, that dude just lied for no reason. I don't really get what that was about. I don't know why he lied in that context. That never really made sense to me, now looking back on it. And then there was... the overall gun was good. Also, I guess I'll say this. One thing that a lot of people were talking about when the first trailers came out was that, oh, Sonic's working with Gun. Blah, blah, blah. Sonic's working with Gun. He's a, game Sonic wouldn't do that. Well, they worked for Gun for, like, the first Shadow mission. And then after that, like, the entire time Gun is, like, literally saying, like, we're gonna kill these guys because we think they're evil now. Like, they aren't working with Gunn for, like, the rest of the movie. Like, only, like, the first Shadow encounter. After that, they're just, like, they're doing their own thing. So, I feel like that's one thing that the movie does that I think is, you know, kind of like that fake marketing thing where they kind of make you think they're gonna do this one thing, but actually, no, they aren't. Turns out these guys just don't like Gunn. Crazy. Oh my god. So, you know, that, you know. For those worried about Sonic working with the military, he does not really work with the military. They're really just there to give Sonic a reason to go to Japan so that he can encounter Shadow. That's really their only purpose. After that, they're not buddies. They're not buddy anymore. So, you know. And then on top of all that, they do the okay, one thing I will say is the music. They actually played songs from the video game throughout the movie. Shadow has a little leitmotif, and that leitmotif is Live and Learn, which is a, you know, would have I preferred Throw It All Away for his leitmotif? Definitely, but at the same time, they haven't done Throw It. You know, I get it. I get why they went for Live and Learn. It was nice to see them use the songs from the source material and use them in a way that was fun. They played the Eggman theme that was used from, like, Colors Afterwards in one big moment, and I thought that was really cool. I thought it was cool when they used that song, and I thought that was nice. It's a lot of small things like that I think really help the movie kind of feel fleshed out in what they're doing. And then finally, the I guess this is where I get into spoilers now, I guess. So, final fight. Let's just get this out the way. I can't believe we actually had a Super Sonic versus Super Shadow fight. That is insane. I felt like that was kind of what they were gonna do through some of the trailers. But the fact that they actually did it is still insane to me. And that was insane. That was such an insane fight because that was a Dragon Ball Z fight. That was a fight taken straight from DBZ. Like, in terms of scale and the way that they were fighting, the way they were flying around, it was insane. And then the moment where, you know, it's crazy because the final confrontation is literally Shadow telling Sonic, kill me, like, do it. Like, you want to do it, because Shadow has no purpose. He's achieved his goal at this point, right? He's gonna destroy the planet. He's gonna get revenge. And then Sonic does it, and that's kind of the moment that makes Shadow realize that things don't have to kind of go the way that they're going right now. And I think that is very interesting for both their characters, I think. Like, it's a very good moment in showing how Sonic and Shadow kind of both deal with grief and how Sonic, this version of Sonic can relate to Shadow with it, with Longclaw, which I think is so cool. You know, I think that's such a cool thing that they did with that they can do with the movie versions that they couldn't do with the game versions. And I think it's just such a nice way to end the movie, in my opinion, or at least end their kind of drama throughout it, right? Because they had this throughout the entire movie, and now they're over it. They're friends. They're not really friends. They're working together to save the world because Shadow realizes that, hey, this isn't what Maria would have wanted. Like, even if she's gone, even if, right, that doesn't matter. Like, the love is always there. That was kind of the big moment for him, is that the love was always there for him. He never lost that. The love Maria gave him. Just like Longclaw. Like, sure, she's gone, but never the love. And I think that's a very powerful way of taking a relationship, I think. So, I think not only that, but just, like, there's so many, like, smaller things that the movie does that I really do like. Just overall, really, really cool movie. I really liked that. And then, obviously, like I just said, the Sonic Shadow fight with the Super Sonic was incredible. Probably one of the best. in the entire series. Like, just, they did so good on that. So good on it. Just, everything hit the way it was supposed to. And whenever they got super together and Live and Learn started playing, I had the dumbest, biggest smile on my face. Like, I was so happy that they played that song there, because that really was the song that was needed for that moment. And just seeing them work together was just so fun. It was so satisfying. Just such a, I can't imagine how it would be watching that movie if you had never played Sonic Adventure 2, or you don't really know the Sonic lore. I bet that's so cool, seeing Shadow go super. The way it's handled, the way it's presented is so incredible. Like, I could not imagine how insane that must be, seeing that and not knowing, like, Shadow can do that as well. Like, that was so cool. It was awesome, man. They did it. It's just such a, oh god, that was so good. That was such a good moment in that movie. Such a good moment. It filled in a movie filled with good moments. Like, that's the craziest part of that. That's not even like all the, like, in a movie filled with moments like that. Like, god, just, that is definitely how I think it makes sense why they made that movie. I get why Sega felt so confident in the Year of Shadow and all that, because they truly did have a great movie. So I really hope that, you know, with this, you know, we start getting more care from the wider Sonic team, but also just like what they're doing, man. They just like, I guess I'll talk about the big Eggman Gerald fight. It's funny. It is very funny, and it was entertaining. I will admit, right? Jim Carrey is funny, but I can understand someone not liking that, right? I could understand someone hating that sequence, thinking it destroys Gerald's character. I get that. It is played as a joke, and I think that's done on purpose to kind of deviate from the serious moments with Sonic and Shadow. It makes sense. You know, Eggman had always kind of been a kooky character, and I understand why they didn't take it as seriously as they did, all things considered, because that's a very serious thing to cover in a children's film. Like, I still don't really know how they did that in a video game. Like, to this day, like, genuinely insane plot point that game has. So, you know, here's hoping that, you know, I understand if you don't like that part. I personally didn't hate it, but it wasn't the best. And, you know, I feel like another thing I feel like that was like the only thing where I was just like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if I love this. Everything else was great, though. I loved everything else. I thought Tails was great. I thought Knuckles was great. I still really like Sonic's family. You know, I think Tom and Maddie are their names. They're such fun characters. I really do like them. I think they really are such fun characters. They do a really good job at making them feel kind of like as entertaining and fun as Sonic is, which I think is a very impressive thing for them, all things considered, that they're like boring humans and they still make them as much fun as Sonic and gang. So, you know, but I think this is where I talk about the big thing, the post-credit scene. Oh my god, Metal Sonic. Oh my god, Metal Sonic is real. He looked incredible. It's crazy. He's literally 1-to-1 with the game design. Like, I'm actually surprised at like how accurate it was. Like, it literally looks like metal. Like, it was just straight up Metal Sonic. I guess it makes sense though, because all things considered. I would be surprised if he gets some minor changes in Sonic 4. But man, Metal Sonic looked great in that post credit. And on top of all of that, oh my god, like, Amy? Like, oh my god, I'm so excited. And at first I was kind of confused because I was like, what's going on? Until it kind of hit me that they're doing Sonic CD. They're adapting Sonic CD specific. Because it looks like metal came through some sort of time travel portal thing, right? So they're doing Sonic CD pretty much, where they're gonna do a time travel plot, which I think is crazy. And I'm very excited to see how they handle that. I feel like that story has a ton of opportunities to go for when it comes down to what they can do with the potential. Like, one thing is that I was really expecting Silver to show up during that sequence. When all the metal Sonic showed up, I was like, I think Silver is going to show up. Because for the longest time, I was like, they could just do the Dragon Ball Z Trunks thing, but with, like, Silver instead. Like, they could just do the Dragon Ball Z Trunks, but with, like, Silver. Like, yeah. And, like, I mean, they still probably can. They might do the Sonic 2 thing where they tease Tails and then Knuckles is in the movie, right? So Silver could still show up. I feel like this is, like, the chance that they want to introduce Silver, but yeah, Amy has been long requested. It's so great to finally see her. She looks so cute in the movie. It's just nice to see her. I like her hood. I'm very interested on what that's about, because that was very interesting. It seems like they're going to be following the fact that Amy is very strong. The hammer is a very powerful weapon, which is nice, because she literally, like, takes out all the metals, like, in the span of, like, a second. So, like, clearly she's very strong. She's a very strong character, which is good to see, that they're not making her weak. So, that's nice. And then, just, oh, it was so good. And then, confirming Shadow is still alive was very nice. I think that was good. I think that's a good way. It makes me curious to see what they're going to do with him next, and what they plan on doing with him. I really wonder if they're going to go for a spin-off movie, because I do feel like that might be the direction they want to go, all things considered. Like, where do you go after that, right? And I really do think spin-off movie is the direction to go. Like, I really do think spin-off movie is the direction, with Keanu Reeves as the lead. And I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to go with a Shadow movie, to kind of dive deeper into his character, and maybe introduce him more, maybe like Omega, and possibly even Rouge. That might be where they introduce Rouge and Omega. Just overall, incredible movie. I can't wait for 4. That comes out like in 2027. I'm going to be 21, man. That's messed up. That's messed up that I'm going to be 21 when that movie comes out. Like, that's messed up. But overall, incredible movie. I cannot wait for Sonic 4. Sonic 3 was just perfect. That is the Sonic movie. Like, that was a Sonic movie. And just everything was great. And I cannot wait to see how they handle the next thing and what they do next. Because it's just, ooh, that was a good movie. If I had to rate it, I don't know. I guess like it's a solid 9 out of 10. Edging on a 10 out of 10, I think. I think it's really good. It just has like a few things I don't love about it, but I could totally see myself liking the movie more if I watch it again, which I feel like I might, because I have some friends who do want to watch it, so I will totally be planning on watching that movie again and kind of getting a kind of sort of more nuanced experience on it, getting a second opinion. But first watch, first opinion, great movie, highly recommend it. If you like Sonic, you're gonna love this movie. Even if you don't like Sonic, I think you'll really like it. I think this movie will make you a huge Shadow fan and make you love his character, because they handle him with so much care, make him such a fun, intimidating character with such a fun and nuanced story. It's just everything that it needed to be, I think. So hopefully I'm excited to see what they do next, how they handle that, how they handle where they're going with this story. Because man, are we in for a treat, man? I think there's a lot of directions they can go for Sonic Movie 4, and Sonic Movie 3 is just, it's everything you want from a Sonic movie, man. Just everything you want from that. It's perfect. So, you know, I do play a lot of Sonic games, as you can tell. So if you like more Sonic stuff, you can you know, watch my videos. You can watch my shadow thingy and you know, all that. So you know, like and subscribe and subscribe for more Shadow and Sonic and stuff. I'll probably do more movie reviews for more movies I care about in this sort of format because I think this is fun. I get to yap about stuff and play video game. So yeah, I will see you in the next video.
Not bad.